Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. This is the JRPG Report, episode 97. I want to say a big hello to everyone listening to this podcast and everyone watching on YouTube as well. We're getting closer and closer to episode 100, which just boggles my mind to think about. When I started this, I guess about 4 years ago now, that I would still be doing it all these years later, and going from once a month to every 2 weeks to now a weekly podcast is it's pretty special to me, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for listening in each and every week and telling all your friends about it, all that fun stuff. But let's get right into it. We had a few stories come out on Friday of last week that that's just the way it goes sometimes, that you record on Wednesday or Thursday and stuff comes up on Friday. And one of those was a little 3.5 minute video, which was titled the theme song trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't actually want to dive into this trailer. You guys by this point have either watched it or have the ability to watch it. I've watched it a couple times, and it's kind of funny. It's certainly some of the things that we talked about in the quote, fears of what's going to happen in the remake. They did address a few of those, and so I would invite you guys, if you would like to go see it, go view it. It's out there. I honestly don't know how you would have avoided it to this point. But it is certainly getting to the point where they are showing quite a bit of the game, and for good or for bad. Now, we've talked about this before. This is an old game they're remaking, so there's not going to be surprises, but at least in my opinion, I would like to experience some of these things fresh and not have them ruined by a trailer. So I don't really want to speak about too much in there. So maybe some of you were wondering why this kind of came out and if we're going to see anything even any more. And what I speculate happened is, I think it was supposed to start either tomorrow. Yeah, it was supposed to start tomorrow. I believe it's the Taipei game show in China. And that festival actually was canceled and moved until June, I believe. I'm not sure how big of a game show that is, but obviously with everything that's going on with the coronavirus in China, they weren't going to risk anything to do with that, and moved it. And what I speculate is this trailer was going to come out at that game show, or at least be prominently displayed at that once it was canceled. I believe I have my timing on this correct, but or maybe once it looked like it was not going to happen, they just went ahead and released this to the public. I will go ahead and tell you that my first fear of not seeing Red 13 yet, that has been fixed. We got to see him. We got to see, I believe they've now shown every member of the Shinra Power Company board of directors. They're all present and accounted for. Very well done. We even got to see Cloud in her dress. His dress, rather. We'll see Tifa as well in hers. And we got to see all of the wall markets, all that stuff. So they're showing quite a bit, and I'll be honest, I don't know how I really feel about it. It'd be nice not to have everything ruined. I was pretty vocal in my annoyance in the fact that we saw every world that we explored outside the very final one, which wasn't even a world, but we saw all the Disney worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3, and it feels like we're going down the same road of they're going to show almost everything. And we're only talking, now if this was the entire game and they were just showing what's going to go on in Midgar, it might be a little different. But we even saw Genova. So it doesn't leave a whole lot to the imagination of, man, I'd really like to experience this as I'm playing the game and being shocked by it for the first time in 20 years type of experience. They did talk to the composers for the game, and it is what they're talking about is rather long on each one. So I would just read to you. I may just save that for a different time because that's rather long. We may do that on a separate deal. Because we have quite a bit to actually get to today. All these stories, of course, are linked on the Facebook page. So anything I talk about today, you can easily access it on the JRPG Report Facebook page. You can see all the trailers that we're talking about, even some stories we don't cover. But, a lot of times I will kind of pick and choose the best parts of a story to kind of get you everything, because I'm not going to sit here and read everything to you. That would be kind of boring. So if you'd like to go ahead and read this as well, go ahead and check it out over there. So obviously that was the big, huge news that came out. Not surprisingly, it was also announced that remember they released that timed exclusivity for FF7 Remake. It has now been updated. A new asterisk was changed, and it's now a timed exclusive until 4/10/2021. It's a year. Of course, it's not going to be. That had to change as well. One final kind of fun note. I want to talk about FF7 Remake, and this was completely random. As I don't know about you guys, but I don't dream very often at night, or at least if I do, I don't remember them. But right before I woke up this morning, I laid back down and maybe drifted off for about 30 minutes or so, and I actually had a dream about, or at least in the world of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And this was obviously going to be very far in the future, because at some point in time, I guess it was me and Cloud were hanging out, and we went down some pipe or chute or something to that effect. And then all of a sudden, there is Yuffie, and she was riding a wave of gold coins kind of down towards us. It's things that only dreams could be made of. I don't think that's going to make it into FF7 Remake Part 2 or 3 whenever she shows up, and gold coins for whatever reason. I guess a lot of gil if you're talking about Remake. I just had to throw that out there. I guess it's bad news, but it's not unexpected, and I think this actually could be good news. Publisher Koei Tecmo and Gust have delayed Fairy Tail from its previously announced March 19th release date back until June 25th in Europe, and Japan June 26th in North America. It will be coming out for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC via Steam. Here is a message from producer Kaisuke Kuchi on the delay. Quote, "I am very sorry for Fairy Tail's delay and the inconvenience caused to all of our fans, partners, and stakeholders who are looking forward to this title. Please allow us to take further time to polish the game and ensure it is of high quality as possible, so we can offer you a truly immersive experience. We will be working hard to enhance the magic effects, event scene effects, improving the game balance, and more. We will talk about the improvements in more detail in the coming months. This delay will allow us to ensure we provide you with a much more satisfying game. Thank you for your understanding." So, obviously, a delay of this magnitude, it has been at least, they weren't firm on that release date for a while. I feel like it got pushed back a little bit. Now it's getting pushed back again. And I'll be honest, this is a good delay for them. I don't think they want to be anywhere as close to Persona 5 Royal's release here in the West, or anywhere as close to FF7 Remake. It just, obviously they were coming out before both of those things. I mean, Royal's already been out in Japan, but it just did not feel like that was a good release window for them. Being now in the June, late June area, obviously it's possible we get like something like Persona 5 Strikers, or, as I've talked about before, even like a Tales of Arise or something kind of out of nowhere. I think this is a much better window for them. Not a lot going on confirmed of right now in that time frame, and I think it'll be very good on both ends in the long run. And again, that's Fairy Tail delayed until late June, all in Europe and Japan. So they're doing a simultaneous release worldwide. 25th, Europe and Japan, 26th of June in North America. Speaking of Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers, we got two pieces of information to pass along with you guys about this one. The first was Atlas released a new trailer for the game featuring Futuba, who's voiced by Ao Yuki, the Phantom Thieves of Hearts super hacker navigator, and she explains what kind of game Persona 5 Scramble is in just 3 minutes. That's awesome. Except it's in Japanese. So maybe we'll get this one come over in English at some point in time. Maybe when they announce a Western release date, that they will go ahead and dub us over using the English actresses for Futuba. But it's fun to watch, but a video that is designed to explain what's going on and you can't understand it is not much use, at least for me personally. I do have what I'm gathering, and this is just speculation. I would really need to know more in this kind of video. It looks to me that this game is, obviously we know it's a sequel timeline wise. It looks to me like it is going to carry on almost all of the elements, if not all of them, outside of school. Remember, I guess this one's in the summer vacation time, so they don't have to worry about school. But it looks like Persona 5. The only thing they look like they have changed is the battle system and going to an action RPG format. It still shows Joker running around everywhere, exploring. It hasn't shown like the social things yet, so maybe that's not in there. But like all the cutscenes look exactly the same. So I'm expecting a close to that experience, but maybe without those social things, because that would dive more into a traditional JRPG. So maybe we're going to get like a light JRPG experience, and I'm perfectly fine with that. In other Scramble news, also much more to the benefit of our Japanese friends, there is now a demo available on the PS4 via the Nintendo Store and the Switch eShop in Japan. This demo allows users to play through the beginning of the game's adventure and runs about an hour in length. Now, save data from the demo cannot be transferred to the full game. Since it is the beginning of the game only, it's just Joker. In the full version, of course, all members will be playable excluding the navigator. The demo does not have any save or load capabilities or any link bonuses for other titles. Of course, it is coming out in Japan in exactly 2 weeks on February the 20th. And I've never really dived into those type of deals. I understand there are ways of playing things that are on the Japanese PlayStation Store or eShop, but I can wait. That's okay. We did get some Kingdom Hearts news, but not Remind related. So, Square Enix will release the Kingdom Hearts All-in-One package for PlayStation 4 on March the 17th in North America. This is going to include Kingdom Hearts The Story So Far, which was 1.5 and 2.5 remix, as well as Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue and Kingdom Hearts 3. So that is a total of 10, I'm using quotes, games for you to play. And it's all going to be for $49.99. So that's a pretty solid price. I gotta say, I was not initially expecting that. But so you're getting absolutely everything, although the name is misleading by saying it's an all-in-one package because you are not getting Remind as a part of that. Maybe they felt like they would have to charge a lot more, an extra $30 for Remind, and that price point wasn't as enticing that way. So 1.5 and 2.5, you get Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, 358/2 Days with the HD Remastered Cinematics, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Birth by Sleep Final Mix, Recoded with the HD Remastered Cinematics. That's all in the 1.5 and 2.5. Then you get 2.8, which has Dream Drop Distance, 0.2 Birth by Sleep, and X Back Cover Movie. You can... that kind of says it all, doesn't it? Again, that's going to be available on March the 17th, just listing this for PlayStation 4 at the moment, so not sure if that's going to be heading to Xbox One as well at some point, but that is, I would say so, eventually once those games do come out on Xbox One, that you'll also get this available as well. But for $49.99, that's really not a bad deal. The cover is really cool too. It's got Sora kind of on the throne with the crown, and then surrounded by paintings with each one of the 10 covers on it. I guess that's 10 or 9. I guess it's not including the Xbox cover movie. So that's pretty cool. If you are somehow have not played any of the Kingdom Hearts game, this seems like a perfect chance to get them all in one package. Or if you're a console gamer, you didn't have access to your 3DS, now you can play them all in one place. One other quick piece of Kingdom Hearts news: we reported on Project Xehanort last week. Well, they wasted no time in giving it the official title of Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. This was the recently announced Kingdom Hearts mobile game. The RPG, which sees focus on the young Xehanort, is due out for iOS and Android worldwide this spring as a free-to-play title with in-app purchases. Kind of weird that it wasn't just called that from the get-go and changing it only a week later. Seems a bit odd. There was one story I forgot to report to you guys last week, and that happens. Sometimes I get... I open all my windows and something closes accidentally, or I just forget it. And I did report it on the Facebook page, but forgot to put it in podcast. And that is that Nippon Ichi Software has released Disgaea 1 Complete for iOS via the App Store and Android via Google Play. It is going to be available for $32.99 or 4,040 yen. The game, which is a remastered version of the January 2003 released Disgaea Hour of Darkness, first launched for PS4 and Switch back in July of 2018. I wonder how much those are going for by now. So yeah, if you missed it, it is now available for it. This is the beloved cast of the original Disgaea return in this remaster for a new generation, now available on smartphones. They ask, what is Disgaea 1 Complete? The king of strategy RPGs return. Join Laharl, Etna, Florin in the crazy adventure through the netherworld to crown a new overlord, remastered for a new generation with brand new visuals. It does support cloud saves as well, so you can transfer between Android and iOS. So let's say if you have an iPhone or you have an Android phone and you have an iPad, you can transfer between those two things, and that's pretty pretty cool. Here's the new features for the smartphone version. There is the auto battle, which lets the battle play out on its own. Not only can you leave the stages themselves up to auto battle, but also in the item world as well. With the auto battle feature, you can leave the level grind up to the game. There is a battle speed boost. You can play through the game between 1x and 8x normal speed. There's also the cheat shop. The popular cheat shop returns, upping the amount of experience and HL you receive post-battle. Enemy strength, auto heal, all these features and more can be tweaked in the cheat shop. Cheat shop, not cheap. Speaking of not cheap, I do feel like $32.99 is a bit steep for a mobile game. Like I said, I'd be curious to find out what a new copy of this game is going for on Switch or PS4, since how it was released back in July 2018. I doubt it's that expensive. I'd say it's probably at $30 max. So it seems a bit high for a mobile game. I mean, especially considering it's, the game itself is 2003. So it's not a new game by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm sure some people are going to be into it and pick it up. This may be kind of like they're bringing it out in the West as well. This may be kind of focused towards Japan. We've talked about the differences before in culture in terms of, while yes, everybody has a smartphone, at least here in America, and I'd say in most of the world, but Japan in particular, with its commutes, public transportation, they are a mobile gaming culture, and so maybe this is going to do well over there. I can't necessarily imagine how well it's going to do over here. One other quick note on NIS America. On Nippon-ichi, the NIS America will be attending PAX East 2020, which will run from February 27th until March 1st at the Boston Convention Center, the company announced. The following titles will be playable at their booth: Disaster Report 4, Summer Memories, which is PS4, Switch, and PC. Langrisser 1 and 2 for PS4, Switch, and PC. Haven't heard of this one before. Maybe I just missed it. La Mulana 1 and 2 for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3, the Switch version, will be there. And what they're calling a secret new game. What is it? Now, I've been down this road a couple weeks before with PAX South, and if you recall in the previous podcast, watching the live stream, waiting for announcement for either Cold Steel 4 and or Ys 9, only to be snubbed. And I don't want to get my hopes up here again, but they have specifically made a point of putting secret new game on there. So shame on you, NIS America, if it is not one of those two games. At least be like, we're working on it. There's a ton of voiceover and language to translate in these games. I understand that. Believe me. We'll talk about this in a minute. I just got done with Cold Steel 3. It is incredible, the amount of text and spoken language in those games. I know it takes a while. Just let us know you're working on it. I mean, let us know a window when these games are coming out. That would be very, very kind of them to do so. All right, well, this seems like a perfect time for a quick break. We'll thank Anchor for their sponsorship of this podcast and be right back on the JRPG Report. All right, everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Again, thank you so much for checking in. If you've not already done so, like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We are always taking listener support. I appreciate it so very much. If you guys want to support the show, even if it's just $1 a month. I mean, if everybody did $1 a month, I could Well, I'm not going to say what I could do because it wouldn't be that. It would not, I was going to say I could quit my job, but that's just ridiculous. It wouldn't happen. But it would help out so very much if you guys would choose to do that. I would truly be appreciative of that. Big news. I am very close. I'm thinking by next week I should be able to launch our website for JRPG Report. And it's kind of just going to be like a one-stop shop for everything in terms of the stuff that I create and do. It's not going to have the stories on there because I do get all that stuff from Gametsu and other places. So I just will be sharing that on Facebook and Twitter. But it will be a easy place to see and check us out from time to time. But I will let you guys know. Hopefully by next podcast, I'll have that all said and done. Building a website is no easy task. But let's get back into it. I got some quick hitters for you guys, and I want to wrap up with a few fun things. Hero Must Die Again will launch for PlayStation 4 and PC via Steam on February 26th, and for Switch on February 27th. Publisher Dengeka Games announced it will support English and Japanese language options. Of course, this is the one where your fantasy anti-RPG where the hero starts at his strongest and then grows weaker as time passes. It has over 50 different funerals, which are the endings, depending on what the hero accomplishes. 8 unique heroines to woo, each with their own personalities and motivations. You can visit the world that you just saved and resolve many remaining problems that led to the best possible future. Interesting looking game. We'll have to see how it plans out. It's certainly it looks like an upgraded 3DS or Vita game. Doesn't necessarily look like it's been built for current systems, but it doesn't look too bad either, and a definitely unique pitch on that. We talked about last week the Code Vein Hellfire Knight DLC, which was the first part of 3 DLCs coming out over the next couple months. Well, they were happy to announce that they have now sold over 1 million units worldwide. This has been since its release back on September 27th of 2019, and I had to assume that was both digital and physical, as it usually is. So congratulations to Code Vein. That's a pretty cool number to top. The online manual for the North American release of Phantasy Star Online 2 confirms that the PC version will be available via Steam in addition to Windows 10. So that's kind of just a quick side note to that. They are running that closed beta for the Xbox One version here this weekend, February 7th until the 9th. They had previously announced it was coming to Xbox One and Windows 10, but now we can confirm Steam users will be able to play this one as well when it releases. Square Enix has announced a tactical RPG called Dragon Quest Tact. This is coming out for iOS and Android devices. It will be launched as a free-to-play title with in-app purchases sometime in 2020 in Japan. Dragon Quest Tact is a tactical RPG where players command and battle familiar monsters from the Dragon Quest series. Combat features elements of the turn-based command system Dragon Quest is known for, while 3D monsters battle atop a battle map separated by squares. Now this has, obviously it's a mobile game, and it looks like a mobile game. Quickly, speaking of Dragon Quest mobile games, that Dragon Quest, what is it, something with the stars game, I did see it listed on the iPad the other day. I believe it's February 27th it's coming out, and I don't know if I announced that previously or not. So I'm going to try to see if I can download that and check it out if my iPad will allow me. So, but back to Tact. This has all the players are involved with it. It is a Square Enix game. It is being directed by Yuri Hora. I'm sorry, and Akira Toriyama is doing the monster design. Developing is by Aiming, so it's not like it does not have Dragon Quest influences to it. It looks the part, and actually looks pretty cool. We'll have to wait and see if we get this in the West. Maybe. I'll give it a maybe. You just never know with these games if we're going to get them or not. Bandai Namco has released version 2.4 update for God Eater 3, which adds the Keith and Neil chapters to Traversing the Past episode, new Ashrot Origami Tyranny Hannibal, I hope I got that right, that was a long one, and more. There are new missions added to the extra section for standard missions, an extra episode. Of course, this was for Traversing the Past with Keith and Neil. Certification missions, time attack missions, new special missions. Added the Abandoned God arcs with new skills. These can be obtained from certain higher difficulty missions. And Avatar editions as well. 4 new outfits for both male and female, and of course the various fixes for bugs to make a better gaming experience. Got one more story to talk about with you guys. First, I did finally complete Trails of Cold Steel 3. I am joined by my friend Mishu over here, and he gave me a high five when I finally finished it. It was kind of weird since he's a stuffed animal, but I didn't question it. I appreciated it. I think I'd posted about a week ago, or maybe longer, that I thought I was getting near the end of it. Finally got the final day calendar on the game, which then took another 3 or 4 days to complete. And man, that game did not disappoint. It did go on and on and on. It just refused to end, but it was so good. Like, in particular, like in the last dungeon, I was kind of just running through it. I didn't feel like I needed to level up. I probably should have, but I just wanted to kind of be over. I wanted to get to the end. I don't think I'll be spoiling anything. If you played part 1 and part 2, you know the endings are always just crazy. And this one, it's not the very end is crazy. Leading up to the end is crazy, and then the end happens, and scene. You know, it's just nuts. Highly recommend anyone who hasn't jumped into it. They need to. Had a fun suggestion from Jake that maybe we'll do a special spoiler cast podcast at some point. So I kind of told him I need a few days to kind of get my head around everything that was going on, because you were talking about not only the 2 previous games plus this one story arc, but you are, at least that I know of, you are definitely bringing in elements from the Sky trilogy and definitely from the Crossbell series that are being tied up as well. And I don't understand those ones, so I would only be able to speak on the first 3 games, but that could be kind of fun just to kind of get it all out there. I'll have to see if I can pull that one off or not, Jake. I don't know. So maybe let me know if you guys would be interested in hearing, or if you've not played them, not hearing a podcast completely ruining the experience for you guys. I did have an interesting conversation at dinner with my wife last night, and she had fallen asleep during most of it. And she's like, I was like, yeah, it was crazy. She's like, what was crazy about it? And I started just rattling off all these things. She's like, oh my goodness. She couldn't quite understand everything that I was talking about, but she's like, yeah, that's pretty nuts. Absolutely. So anyway, I have one more Legend of Heroes story to talk about, and I'm still trying to kind of get all this straight. We talked about the new games that are coming out, and it's really hard for me to keep these ones straight because they're still using their Japanese names here. So This one broke last Friday, and we didn't get to talk about it. But both The Legend of Heroes Zero no Kazeki and Ao no Kazeki will launch for PS4 April 23rd for the first one and May 28th for the second one in Japan. Now, these two are the cross-spell games. So try to keep that in mind. If it's either Zero or Ao no Kazeki, they will be launching for right about 4,000 yen. So I think that's $29.99 in conversion. They say that there would be save data compatibility with the new game in this series, Hajimari no Kazeki. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And there will also be the appearance of characters from Trials of Cold Steel in the second game. So let's try to get our hand all over that. So save compatibility in Zero into the new game. Or actually from both games, you can bring your save over to the new game, which is due out in summer 2020 in Japan. If you have save data, then you will be able to obtain in-game bonuses in the new game. Now, they haven't said which characters are going to be appearing in this one, although they do have a picture of Yuna. So I'm guessing she is the one that pops up, which makes sense. I mean, she is a Crossbell resident, so that makes perfect sense that she would be in there. The game looks incredible. I really hope we get this over here soon. There's never been the translation for it, so this could take a while for us to get it. The games look really cool. They have that same feel of what they did with the first Star Ocean game, but a little bit better. And as I've played Cold Steel 3, I really have come to understand and really like these crossbow characters. It's really, Randy is in there, or Randolph, I guess, however you want to say it. And I always want to call her Teotot, because that's what Randy calls her. But Teo, you get to play with her for a little bit in Cold Steel 3. And, of course, she is one of the main characters in this one. So that's pretty cool. But what they're also coming out with, and we were getting some images, and I think I was incorrect last time, because I thought the images that had come out were from the Zero or Ao games, but they're actually from Hajimari game. But they are showing and detailing the characters of Crossbell in it. So it sounds like we know the Hajimari game is a side story apart from, it's not in the Cold Steel universe, it's not in Crossbell. It is kind of combining all those into a new offshoot game. And so then they have detailed the characters that you kind of already know from the Crossbell, but they just kind of want to throw them out there. They talk about Crossbell and where it's the autonomous state that is, of course, between Erebonia and Calvard. It is a huge center of trade. Then they also detail the Special Support Section, which is the SSS, the Crossbell State Police Department, a division established within Crossbell Police Department, agency that maintains the public order of Crossbell to counteract the Bracer Guild, which is very interesting. In Cold Steel, the Bracers are definitely more respected, and while maybe not officially recognized, you definitely do a lot of, quote, bracer work in Cold Steel, so it kind of sounds like Crossbell has a different opinion of the Bracers. After the occupation of Crossbell by the Empire, the Crossbell Police Department was reorganized as the Crossbell Military Police, and while the Special Support Section was virtually dissolved, Lloyd and Company's efforts later liberated Crossbell. You've got the details of the characters, and there's an image that goes along with it. For Lloyd Bannings and the rest of the crew, hang on, I'm getting down to it. There they are. In the process, the original members, Lloyd, Ellie, Teo, and Randy, are resuming activity. They detail the characters a little more in depth, so I won't ruin anything for you guys if you want to kind of check this out for yourself. I've got the entire story over there for you guys to check out. Like I said, I've definitely enjoyed meeting these characters, and it's going to be very interesting, this game. Don't ask me when we're going to get this one. It's going to be a while before we get any of these games. Keep in mind, we're still waiting on Cold Steel 4, which has been out for a while, and especially if NAS America is the one handling it, we may never see these games. I just don't know anymore when all this is going to finally see the light of day, but it's certainly exciting. I love what Falcom is doing with this series and really pushing it out in the forefront. People are getting excited about it, and they should be, because it is a great JRPG series. That's about all I want to talk about this week. Like I said, definitely you'll want to check out the Facebook page for all these stories. If you want to get a little more in depth with them, you can certainly do that. As soon as I finished up Cold Steel 3, I got to finally play Atelier Raza last night. So it's certainly a huge change of pace. Going from like that military structured, dynamic at war civilizations over 3 games basically to Rise is definitely a lot more carefree. I don't think there's going to be the end of the world as we know it. I think it's going to be a journey, and at least from what I was playing last night, it was a lot of fun. So I'll let you guys know a bit more as I figure it out. You can check out my live streams on YouTube most nights. Of course, they're backed up as well, so you can check them out anytime you would like to as well. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Don't forget to tell all your friends about the podcast if they think they might be interested. We're always happy to have new listeners. And give us a review wherever you listen to us at, especially on Apple. That always helps out quite a bit, bump us up the rankings, and let new people find us. This has been episode 97 of the JRPG Report. My name is James Fisher. And until next time, guys, get back out there and level up.